What's up, Big Ten fans? Michael Dugan here from internsbig10.com. Week 10 picks. My gosh, we're in November. Week 10 picks right here. Let's get going. Nebraska, Ohio State. No question here. Nebraska's figuring it out lately, but I got Ohio State. I think they got a lot to prove right now. They got 10th in the initial college football playoff rankings. They have a lot to prove. They've got a lot of ground to make up if they want to get back in that conversation for the top four by the end of the year. I think they play with purpose. I think they have a statement to make, and I think they beat Nebraska. Nebraska hangs around for a bit, though. There are too many holes in this Ohio State team, and Nebraska's figuring things out. They hang around for a bit, but Ohio State wins. Wisconsin beats Rutgers. Michigan State, Maryland is interesting. Right now, Michigan State, 2.5-point favorite in College Park. I don't know. Maryland's got a lot of distractions right now with what's been going on with the DJ Durkin thing. First he was their coach, and now he's not this whole week. But look, we thought that the everything in the offseason was going to distract them week one against Texas. That proved not to be the case. I've got Maryland in this one. I think the Terps win this one. They used Ty Johnson more than they did last week, even though they didn't really need him. But that rushing attack last week, granted, Illinois is nothing compared to Michigan State. Illinois is nothing compared to Michigan State. I thought I said that backwards. I think Ty Johnson explodes this game. I think he has a very Ty Johnson day, 12 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns maybe. I've got Maryland in this one. Purdue and Iowa, I'm going to save. Minnesota, Illinois, I've got the Gophers. Penn State, Michigan, I've got Michigan in this one in a close one. I don't think Michigan is that great offensively, but I think that this matches up extremely well for them. Penn State, still a top 15 team, so this is going to look like a good win for Michigan, but at the end of the day, that's a 3-loss Penn State team if they do lose this game. That Penn State defense has a lot of holes in it, and offensively, they just really haven't clicked against a good opponent this year. They've had moments, they've had flashes, but that's about all they've had. So I've got Michigan in this one. I think they can control this game 24-14 maybe, something like that. I think they'll control this game. I'll be thoroughly disappointed if they lose. But I've got Michigan. I think they're able to control this game from start to finish and keep Penn State bottled up. Iowa and Purdue and West Lafayette. This is a big game. I think Purdue is the easy pick here. But I don't know if I'm going to pick them. I'm actually going to pick Iowa. I think this is an easy upset pick. Purdue's actually favored by 3 right now, but I've got the Hawkeyes in West Lafayette. I think Nate Stanley is too much of a force. That Purdue defense, even though what we saw against Ohio State was fantastic, they're not going to have the same environment there. They're not going to be feeding off that crowd energy. I think the Purdue defense realistically has a lot of holes. We saw them come back down to life last week. So I've got Iowa on the road in this one. Against the spread right now, that's an upset. Purdue is the 3-point favorite. So I've got Iowa right there. They pick up a win. They go to 6-2, which does not help. They go to 7-2, which would not at all help Northwestern, who's got a big game this weekend, but it doesn't even matter for them because right now their goal is the Big Ten championship. So I'm very curious to see what happens, how Fitz approaches this game. You know he wants to win. They played extremely well last time in South Bend in 2014. Notre Dame, the 10-point favorite. I think that spread has gone up a few points since it opened. Nobody taking Northwestern in this one. They're significantly outmatched on paper. I want to take the Wildcats in this one. It makes too much sense, and I thought the Wisconsin game made too much sense, so I went with the Badgers. I've basically been wrong on every single Northwestern pick this year. I've got the Wildcats. I'm going to go with the Wildcats in this one. I'm sure Charlie's picking Notre Dame, but I've got the Wildcats. It makes too much sense right now. It's November. They're starting to figure out. I think Clayton Thorson's going to throw about 50 passes, and it's November because November Brian Kelly's going to come out here and come out for a show. They looked not that great last week against an awful Navy team. I know the scoreboard was nice, but just a very unconvincing top 4 team that last week. They've had flashes. They've really, really started to slow down. Notre Dame has since Ian Book started taking over the quarterback position from Brandon Wimbush. So I've got Northwestern in this one by 3 points. I think it's going to be just like it was last time they played. I think this Northwestern team is playing extremely well right now. I think if they played Iowa this week, I think they'd beat Iowa. I think they'd beat Penn State. They just beat Wisconsin pretty handily. This is going to be a big game. Coach Fitz knows what he's doing. When Coach Fitz is at his best, he's not unbeatable, but he's pretty tough to beat. We've seen him beat teams like Penn State on the road, like Wisconsin on the road, like Nebraska, top 10 Nebraska on the road, like Notre Dame on the road. He's beaten some of these big-time programs. I think the matchup is there, and I think they hang on for a win here. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is an enormous week of Big Ten football. Throw in a bonus upset pick. This does not count for our records, Morgan Webster, at Morgan J. Webster on Twitter. This does not count for our records, but I'll leave you with this. LSU beats Alabama.